All right, you're listening to and watching the Longino Show. One of the coldest, most insightful, greatest brothers and journalists in our neighborhood, a guerrilla warfare as a journalist, doing the people's work on the ground, doing his thing. Peace.
Welcome here to another special edition of the Longino Show. And we're sitting here with a legend. You know, I saw him earlier, and I said I had to catch this man. I had to speak to him. Michael Eric Dyson, how you doing?
Great, man. Good to see you, my friend.
Thank you. Now, I see you have a new book.
Yes, sir.
Tears We Cannot Stop. Tell us about the new book.
Well, it's a sermon to white America, and I'm trying to really engage white America around issues of police brutality, of violence, of white innocence, of white refusal to take responsibility, of white fragility, of white vulnerability, to say, look, let's stop it. Don't pretend that you don't know what's going on. Don't allow your whiteness to prevent you and to blockade you from our humanity. And let's together forge a path of not only reconciliation, but restoration and justice to address the hugest social and political issues of our time.
Now, we know not all cops are bad cops. There are some good cops out there. Why do you think the good cops are afraid to address the issues with the bad cops?
Well, it's not just good versus bad. It's a culture in which people are ingrained, where they're deeply entrenched. So even though there are many good cops out there, there's no question about that, the system in which we exist situates them in such a way that it limits their ability to leverage and exercise their authority to do the right thing that makes a difference for the masses of black people. So that when you have a sense of fear, an implicit bias against black or brown people, a kind of hair trigger response, the moment you see a black person, notice this: hands up, get shot; hands down, get shot; run away, get shot; don't run away, get shot. It's not what we do, it's not what we say, it's who we are. Our very beings, our very bodies are the mark of a fatal difference that really is infected in American society, the collective unconscious of America. And as a result of that, cops who are not born on Mars, they're born right where we are born. They learn the same biases and prejudices and stereotypes. They learn the same bigotry. And as a result of that, black and brown people tend to be much more vulnerable when it comes to interacting with police than even do white Americans.
So, do you believe that, even with that being said, that we need new police training?
No question.
And also, should black cops police black neighborhoods?
Oh, there's no doubt about it. Look, many black people will tell you it's not black and white, it's black and blue. It's the blue line, it's the thin blue line, and regardless of their color. But it does make a difference. Black and brown cops don't tend to have the same rates of assault, brutality, or killing as do white cops. So what does that mean? That means that black and brown people are used to seeing those people. That's my uncle, that's my cousin, that's my father, that's my mother. I know that type, I know that trope, I know that character, I know what that person evokes. And so as a result of that, the moment black people show up, they are not fearful, right? And so when we bring that sensitivity to bear upon the situation that we confront, then we begin to see a different outcome, hopefully. And as you said, training for those in majority culture. You know, even black and brown people, when they take that test of implicit bias, we score high as well. We believe that the black person is more likely to be a criminal as well. So we've got to wash all of our minds from all those stereotypes.
With new police training, should that include showing white cops how to deal with black issues, because like you said, they're not used to understanding our way of living, our culture? So should that be part of the police training?
Absolutely. Look, you remember that story recently of an Airbnb person, a white woman, who was prejudiced against an Asian woman. And she said, that says it all, Asian. So that not only did they fine her $5,000, they sent her to an Asian American Studies class. Great. We need to send people to African American Studies classes. We need to send them to indigenous people's classes and to native people's classes and to African American and or if you will, a Latino class. The point is, we need to deal with as much diversity as possible, but especially when it comes to race, black and brown people, so that cops are familiar with, understanding of, not responsive in a negative way to black and brown identity.
Do you think it's too far gone at this point? Because No, social media right now. Every day last week, I've been sent a video in my DM about another situation. Just recently, a cop was breaking into somebody's car.
Right.
You know, so every day there's another situation, and to the perception of the visual that, okay, here we go again. This continues, not stopping. Is it too far gone to where it can't be fixed?
It's never too far gone because we're still here. We can never give up. We can never relent in the face of even bitter or hostile opposition or hatred. If our foremothers and forefathers could combat white supremacy, social injustice, economic inequality, the lynching tree, the lynching mob, the hateful response of white bigotry and white supremacy that lynched us, killed us, murdered us, castrated us, raped us, then we have to say right now, we cannot afford to give up. We must call upon that history and organize our resistance with a recognition that what our mothers and fathers did, we too must do.
Well, if you had an opportunity to be the leader of the change between our community and the police department, what would be the first thing you would do?
To get, first of all, community policing. You got to live where you police. So many of these cops come in from outside. Think about it. The cops with maybe Freddie Gray in Baltimore, coming in from Delaware. You live nowhere near the scene, of the crime. You live nowhere near the urban agony and power and dispossession that these people confront, powerlessness and dispossession that they confront. So my point is, let these cops be A, aware of it, B, live in the communities that you police, C, interact with those people on other occasions besides seeing them when you arrest them, and then D, figure out ways to forge connections between those cops and that broader community. E, get prosecutors involved who often don't hold police people accountable when they misbehave. And then F, figure out ways that all interested parties, all stakeholders can have a say-so over what goes on. Community policing is important, but peer review and especially community review of those police departments needs to happen as well.
With social media and the continuation of posting the videos, after doing myself, this is just awareness of another situation. Is that doing more harm than good? Because even with the videos being posted, even with the evidence there, there's no convictions. So is that doing more harm than good at this point?
You got to keep doing it. Okay. We got to keep hammering the nail. It's like saying you used some disinfectant, but you didn't get all the termites, you didn't get all of the vermin, you didn't get all the grease and the grime. You got to keep doing it. It's not less, it's more. It's not less sunlight, it's more sunlight. It's not fewer videos, it's more videos. And it's the insistence that we pay attention to them. Look at what happened with Philando Castile. His girlfriend begins to live stream on Facebook right after the shooting of her and eventually killing of her boyfriend. But the dash cam video before shows that Philando Castile did everything he was supposed to do. We got to keep hammering this home. We are not doing the wrong thing, and yet we are still getting killed. We must carry that message forward, and social media is incredibly important in doing so.
What would be your advice to young black men from this day forward on how to address and deal with being pulled over by the police when there's a traffic stop?
Here's the thing. It shouldn't be this way. It shouldn't have to be this way, but it is. So since it is, A, we've got to be damn near scarily deferential. What does that mean? We got yes sir, no sir. Hands on wheel. What does it say, 10 and 2? Now, even though Philando Castile did all of this, we got to still play the odds. And the odds are yes officer, no officer. You know, look, we should be able to be sassy and smart talk, but we can't. Often if we do that, we can't live. Sandra Bland is dead right now because she got put in jail, couldn't get bailed out, $500, right? So it's not simply that she was, quote, sassy. She couldn't afford the bail money to get out of jail, and she might be alive today. So what we have to tell young men and women is to obey the edicts of the officer, even at that moment, even if you think they're wrong, even if you think they're unjust. You've got to live long enough to protest. You got to live long enough to make it home that night. Yes, sir, no, sir. Yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. Whatever you say, don't fight them. Don't argue with them. You know, even though it's our right, it's our constitutional right to ask why we're being arrested and to make, if you will, our own claims against the state at the level of the police officer. But that's everybody else's right. Unfortunately, those are not rights that are often acknowledged when we're on the spot. So figure out a way not to backtalk, figure out a way to be deferential, and it's unfortunate, and it's crazy, and it's demeaning and humiliating, but I would rather see my son or daughter live long enough to talk to me so that we can prosecute a case than for them to be dead because they offended the fragile ego and the hair-trigger temperament of a police person. So if you do all those things, try to be obedient, try to say yes sir, no sir, try not to be a smartass, try to engage the policeman in a friendly manner, and no matter what they say, as long as it's not something egregious and outrageous, try to comply with them, and then later on, figure out a way to try to fight them.
Where can they get the book?
The book can be gotten at, look, if we're in LA, SO1 Books, 4327 Degnan Boulevard. Go check my people out. Tom and James been running that bookstore for decades. If not, then go on to Amazon.com and pick up your copy.